We're going to start right on time. I realize this is the first session of the conference, the 10:30 slot. You are going to be using your phones, so do come up with your phone. But I wanted to share that I got hooked on AI over 2 years ago when I attended a master class with Ernst & Young, and there were 8 CEOs and presidents or owners of companies. And we spent 3 hours creating a new business. And we had so much fun. We used ChatGPT. We used many softwares to come up with everything, including what social media influencer we wanted for this business. And I was completely hooked, and I said the opportunities that we have and the ability to really make leap improvements in productivity in construction was evident at that time. So that's when I said, okay, for JETC, I'm actually taking a step and doing something different. And I came up with what I consider to be my dream team. And it's a pleasure to have you all here. So my name is Mercedes Enrique. I'm the president and CFO of CMS Corporation. We are a large construction prime contractor to the Department of Defense. So we're very DoD-centric. And I have the pleasure of having Devin Warren and Gore Rollins with us. And Devin, and I'm actually going to read something, because we never do that, and I want to. Okay, Devin specializes in de-risking digital and AI transformation while delivering guaranteed implementation success and significant cost savings. As a pioneer force in technology transformation with over 42 years of technology expertise and 24 years of specialized experience in digital solutions, he is an expert in both traditional digital transformation and cutting-edge AI implementation. As the founder of Mojo.net and TSV Map, he has established himself as a trusted advisor in the technology sector. And I'm going to introduce Gore Rollins, President and CEO of CMMC. And by the way, CMMC is the ERP system that my company is currently implementing. Since 2002, Gore has overall responsibility for crafting and implementing the company's overall business and product strategies. He joined CMMC in 1989 as a team lead, responsible for managing the design, development, and release of the company's first Oracle-based construction management software solution. Currently, under Gore's leadership, CMMC is embracing AI-driven capabilities, transforming how construction firms interact with their ERP through natural language processing and advanced analytics. Gore continues to drive forward-thinking solutions and redefine efficiency and performance within the construction industry. This will be an interactive session. And I realize this is our first session, so I'm going to ask you to all grab your phones, scan the QR code, and then click that yellow little box that comes up. That opens either your Edge or Chrome on your phone. And then it's going to ask you to select a session. Because it's AI, we are actually the first session on the list. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will select the AI session, and then you'll be ready to have fun alongside this esteemed group. Please take note of the exits. We have 4 exit doors. Silence your mobile phones, but keep them close to you, because we will have polling. The presentations and audio recordings will be available in the Attendee Service Center until September 1st, 2025. And every session is being recorded. You can download your PDH record in the Attendee Service Center before also September 1st. Thank you very much to our educational session speakers and sponsors, Alliance, SciDev, and GEO. Just a little fun fact on me. So I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and if I told anyone I'm not a Cardinals fan, I would be dead. So I'm a Cardinals fan. My favorite vacation spot, as my husband is German, is Mittenwald, Bavaria in Germany. Love the region. And I have played the guitar for a famous Venezuelan singer called Nela. And my hobbies are hiking, traveling, and audiobooks. Now I'm going to let Devin go through his fun facts.
Yeah, so my fun facts are I love the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody throw things at me. I was born in the 70s, so I love the Dallas Cowboys. My favorite place to travel is Singapore. What a beautiful country. I got married to a nice Vietnamese lady, and she's had me travel all over Asia, so I enjoy Singapore the most. And then I love scuba diving. It's one of my favorite pastimes as well.
Thank you, Devin. Gord.
Okay, so my favorite sports teams. Sorry, I have to turn that on. Is there a secret here? Hello, hello, hello.
Mike.
Hello. Hello. I'll just get really close. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize I had to get right up on it. I'm sorry. So I'm like anybody from Toronto. I'm we suffer through the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey seasons every year. It's the franchise with the least number of championships in its history of any sports franchise. So I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and we continue to fight on and try our best. From a football perspective, I'm a football, that's one of my hobbies I'll talk about in a second, is I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan for another strange reason. But anyway, for my favorite vacation, because I travel a lot for work and I'm all over the world for work, when I get a chance to take vacation, I just like to go to my cottage in Northern Ontario, which is very peaceful and serene on a lake. Did you know I have very varied interests. So even though I'm the CEO of a software company, I also play trombone, or I played trombone in a British-style brass band for 30 years. Played bass trombone, actually. If you listen to brass band music, I get right into that. And I'm also, in terms of hobbies, I call myself a quarterback pipeline analyst. So every year I pick the top high school football quarterback that's going into college, and I track his career through all the years. And just in case you're wondering, this year I've picked Bryce Underwood. He was from Detroit, Michigan, and he's signed by the Michigan Wolverines this year. So we'll see where that takes us. My best success story to date, when I picked these quarterbacks, is Brock Purdy, because I picked him. He didn't get drafted until the very end of the NFL draft, but he ended up becoming one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So I got my football interest and my music interest and my software interest. So I think I'm pretty well-rounded from those perspectives.
Thank you, Gord. That's a fun. Okay, the first poll is to get to know you so they know who's here. All right, so who do you represent? You see it on your phone? I already answered that one, so I can't see it again. And we'll see in 15 seconds. Da, 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 da. 9, 8. That will give, and I will let you know who they represent. 2, 1, we go. Here we go. Okay, we have 13% are active duty military. We have about 64% architects and engineers, and our 18% is construction and 5% other. Okay, so let's kick it off with Devin.
So I like to walk and talk, if you don't mind. It's easier for me. Yes, ma'am, I got it. Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. Sorry. So this is the first question. Can machines think?
Pull your phones.
And if you guys will use your phones to answer this question, it'd be great. So this quote actually comes from Alan Turing, from the gentleman that actually was one of the founders of mathematics and algorithms during World War II, that actually helped break the Enigma machine. So this is a quote from him. So as of right now, yes, of course, 57%. No, it's impossible, 30%. And what machines? 13%. Great. So with that, machines are now at a point in time where we deal with different types of intelligence. And before I start this video, I wanted to kind of explain that there's three types of AI, and I'll get to those in a minute, but there's artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. And I kind of want to play this video so you guys can understand where we are right now in real time, not where everybody thinks we are, the media thinks we are. Can't get it to play. Let's see. Yep. It's a back one. They can't, that's right. And obviously technical people can't operate a laptop, so it's all good. Yeah, there we go. I think you just got to click.
Yeah. Here, I got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Nukes don't make stronger nukes, right? Biology doesn't automatically make more advanced biology, but AI makes better AI. AI makes better nukes. AI makes better chips. AI optimizes supply chains. AI can break supply chains. AI is can recursively improve if it's applied to itself. And so that's really what distinguishes it. It's hard for us to get our mind around it. Think about it, people say, oh, AI is like electricity. It'll be just like electricity, but if you pump electricity with more electricity, you don't get brand new capabilities and electricity that improves itself. It's a different kind of thing. So one of the things we're struggling with is what is the category of this thing? And people know this old kind of adage that if you give a man to fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But if you were to update this for maybe the AI world, is you teach an AI to fish, and it will teach itself biology, chemistry, oceanography, evolutionary theory, and fish all the fish to extinction. That's if you gave it a goal to fish the fish out of the ocean. It would then start developing more and more capabilities as it started pursuing that goal, not knowing what other boundaries you're trying to set.
So that's where we are right now. We're at a level of artificial narrow intelligence, not general and not super. This demonstrates there are no policies, there's no governing body, there's no rules, there's no regulation, there's no parent or father. It's a machine. It does what you tell it to at this point. They are all racing at light speed. Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, they're all racing at light speed to get to general intelligence. That's where they're headed at this point in time. But I want you to understand this is where we are right now. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. My first computer was an Atari 5600, not the gaming station. I programmed on a cassette tape. I'm 53, so 40 years of my life, over 40 years of my life, has been dealing with this. This point in time is probably the best point in time for me as a person. I've wanted this my entire life. It's a great thing, but it can also be a bad thing. So it's good and bad. It's both. Sorry, so here's a question. How long do you guys think it took me to create 5,000 blog posts? If you guys will answer on your phones. Oh, votes are going up fast. All right, almost there. I kind of want to do the Jeopardy theme song. I'm not good at it, but it's what I want to do. So we got 5 minutes. Ooh, 74%. 1 week, 13%. 1 month, 13%. So in reality, a few years ago, I got access, over 4 years ago, I got access to a beta of ChatGPT. It took me about a week to a week and a half to write the Python. Once I wrote the Python and I got the database involved and I got other aspects involved, everybody heard of Google Alerts? Google Alerts, you put a word in, you type in digital transformation, you type in ERP assessments, things that I do, and it looks for that. It connects to an RSS feed. We pull all that in through Python, and then AI rewrites it through a prompt. So I had it rewrite 5,000 articles. It took me about 90 seconds once I hit the button. So understand its capability, and went out, found all the feeds, rewrote it all based on a prompt and an engine that I put together. Through AI's API or through OpenAI's API, I connected to that data source, brought all that prompt engine in, brought in the reasoning, the math, everything for the engine to do that. But now, can I read 5,000 blog posts? I cannot. So it took me a little time to fix all that and to basically redo it, but now it runs every day. It writes my blog posts for me. It's been curated. It then goes to WordPress. It then goes to LinkedIn. It goes out to all the social channels. And I have a person that moderates that. But that's one way that narrow intelligence works. Back then, that's what everybody calls an agent now. It does a task for you repetitively over and over and over again. I wrote an agent in Python. All the UIs and interfaces you guys see right now, it's the same thing. They're using some form of Python or some type of script or language to pull in something to do an automated task. That's what an agent is at the base level. Agents can be more complicated, and now they can do interactive things with surfing the web, so on and so forth. So one of the first projects I want to talk about is AI-powered CAD file intelligence that is CMMC compliant. CMMC compliant, sorry. So this takes a few different things. First, you've got to be on a network infrastructure that's contained within a facility. So you've got to go download a model. You can't really call out to OpenAI's API or Claude or Gemini or any of those. You really need to download a model, and the place to do that is Hugging Face. Hugging Face is one place where people download models. There's probably close to 4,000 different models now on Hugging Face. So you download a model, you put the model on a computer or a server. Once you've done that, you take that model and you want to find a model that's really good with PDFs or DWX files or step files or whatever you have. It works best with PDFs. It's better if it gets converted or if you automate that pipeline and you set the pipeline up. So AI will read the prints. You kind of have to teach it a little bit, and you have to train it. You also will have to do what's, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room understand what I'm about to say because y'all are military, you got to put a human in the loop. So a human has to be in the loop for validation and verification. And what that means is, as the data comes across and it extracts the part numbers, the dimensions, the bombs, the annotations, everything, and the cross-reference and everything, you still want somebody to verify that it's correct. Somebody who's got years of experience, they can go, yeah, that's right. And so you have a post-database, a pre-database that has all the information into it, then the human verifies it all, and then it goes to a final database. This project itself was done for somebody who's CMMC level 2, and we built it all internally for them. They work on and make parts for you guys, or some of you guys in the room anyways. But we also made it searchable. So the database became searchable as well. No more digging through folders. All that went away. Error detection, we put flags in place. We put a rules engine in place. This went from processing over 300,000 set of plans that took a year's person's time to 3 days. And they get anywhere from 12 to 1,300 parts every quarter that they're requested to build. So they literally saved over $70,000 a year by doing this. They paid us a little over $250,000 to do this project for them. Once it was done, once it was installed and implemented, they're now successfully running their parts, 1,300 parts. They get converted into PDFs. We grab all those PDFs. We scan them all. They go through the LLM. The LLM deposits them in a pre-database. Person verifies it. Takes about 3 days to do all that, and then it posts. If there's any errors or issues, they fix it, and we've got a human in the loop for not only that reason, but also feedback loop. So it continually trains the model. All right, so what is AI? AI really is the combination of everything: mathematics, linguistics, psychology, biology, economics, operational research. It really does simulate human intelligence. So it's a simulation right now. I'm sure everybody in the room has used GPT or AI in some form or fashion, maybe in your professional world, maybe not in your professional world. But at the end of the day, we're using models that another corporation built, and those models are built for the purpose of getting to general intelligence and getting to super intelligence. I recommend that everybody go read an article called Google or AI 2027. You Google it. Talks about where we will head based on if we decide to pull back once we reach general intelligence, and we head to super intelligence. Now, what that means is whether everybody in the entire planet agrees once we reach general intelligence, we probably should stop before we reach super intelligence. So, great article written by two very, very smart men. and it talks about what can happen. So the goal of AI is to create systems that can function intelligently and independently. Everybody reads about agents. You've heard, I'm sure, about MCPs, which is a Model Context Protocol, which allows you to do things with AI, with an agent, and hook up other tools to it. So it's a new type of protocol. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which we're all familiar with www. MCP is another protocol just like that. So it allows you to use AI as a tool and connect it to many different types of tools out there in the world. So some key concepts of artificial intelligence: machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, artificial neural networks, robotics, expert systems, computer vision, predictive analytics, and reinforcement learning. All these all have some aspect, except for really robotics. Robotics has come a long way. So I guess about 7 years ago, I was in Mumbai and had the honor of watching a machine learn with one camera on one end, another camera on the other end. No ChatGPT, just an algorithm. And after 6 months, it was able to detect the defects in the steel. So they got these huge rolls of steel, and they would feed them through a machine, and they would look for defects. So they'd scan it before it went in and scan it when it came out. Within 6 months, it was 99% accurate. That's where we're at. There were 90,000 mammograms done for women. Within 95% accuracy, it was able to detect whether the person would have breast cancer. Here's the thing that everybody needs to understand. You still got to have a human. You still need the doctor. You still need the lawyer. You still need their education. You still need those things. Right now, we're at a point in time where you still have to validate it. Somebody's got to deliver the diagnosis. Somebody's got to recommend the right approach. Somebody's got to architect or build it. So understand that all these things, except for really robotics, are all part of AI. And the reason I put robotics in there is because it's headed in that direction. And I'll really quickly, I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, so I flew in late last night to Indiana and drove into Kentucky, which was great because there was a candy convention in place, not a lot of cars. So I wish AI had been there for me so I could get a car faster. But with that being said, for me, AI means a lot from the standpoint of artificial neural networks, natural language processing, deep learning, machine learning, expert systems, computer visions, and robotics are all really important because where I come from, BMW has Figure 2. And it is a robot that has AI built into it, and it's on the line right now assembling parts at BMW. That is going on right now today in Greenville, South Carolina. So, importance of AI in business: efficiency and automation, data analysts and insights, enhanced customer experience, innovation and new opportunities, competitive advantage, risk management, and elimination of tribal knowledge. Elimination of tribal knowledge is the thing that we build the most. How many people have heard of a RAG? I'll make this a quick hands up real quick. So RAG means retrieval augmented generation. So think about every document you've ever owned. Every document. It's now in a repository, and you can have a conversation with it. You can ask it this, this, and this, so on and so forth. So for me, it's personal because over 24 years ago, I almost lost my father to cancer, and I really wanted a way to capture his persona, right? I wanted to be able to talk to my dad at the grave site and actually have a conversation with him. But I couldn't. I didn't have the technology. Well, now I have the technology. So for the last 2 years, I've recorded every conversation, every audio, every video, every image. All of it has been uploaded and been made into a RAG so I can capture my father's persona. Along with prompt engineering, along with Python code, I've built the elimination of tribal knowledge. So I want to be able to talk to a persona, and he answers like my father. So my dad's name's Al, so I call it Al's AI, out of the box. So Al in a box is what you like to call it. But I say that because all of you deal with some level of this. And the one thing that I'm finding in business is that if you aren't doing it, anybody want to finish that sentence for me? Somebody will do it for you. That's right. Somebody else is doing it, and the competitive advantage is critical. I have 39 engagements around the United States right now in artificial intelligence. For me, it has blown up beyond any belief that I ever thought it would be. And these are major corporations around the planet, in the US, around other parts of the world as well. So understand, everybody is racing to this to see how I use it, how do I actually use it, How do I actually implement it? What's the policy to it? What's the governance to it? How do I actually enhance my customer experience? What are the new innovation and opportunities? How can I eliminate tribal knowledge? Because you've got somebody who's 63, 64, 55, whatever's decided to retire. They're taking their 20 or 30 years of knowledge and walking out the door. How do I solve that problem? Risk management. I can't tell you this one because I can tell you part of it, but we'll do Chatham House rules, which means I can tell you what happened. I just can't tell you who said it because I'm under NDAs. Risk management. One of probably the largest corporations I've ever dealt with, over $1 billion, has asked me to write an AI lawyer. They pay over $250,000 a year to an attorney to review contracts. So we're writing a program right now that will solve that problem for them indefinitely. They'll pay us one time, and they'll have it forever. All right, so what comes to your mind when you hear the AI? Everybody, please write one word. Uh-oh. We're getting some words up there, all right. Scary, ooh, I like it. Terror, that's a good one too. So as they get bigger, that means more people have voted for it, just in case everybody's not familiar with how this word scramble looks or works. Terminator, I love it, love it. One of my favorite scenes, and it's not in this deck, but I use the AI scene where they're building the robot and you see the red light come on in the robot, so I can let people know that we're not there. So with those words, Skynet, nice. Figure we had a few military people in the room, might get Skynet, that's great. So these are all great words, but understand the reason I like to go through this little exercise is because everybody has their own words, their own thoughts about what they consider AI to be right now. Understand all this is relative. All these words are relative to artificial intelligence. Could we end up with the Terminator? Yeah, if we don't come up with ethics and governance and we don't decide as a country and as a world to do something about it, we could. Efficiency, 100%. We do more about efficiencies with more corporations than anything else when it comes to RAGs and increasing efficiency, getting rid of Excel. How many people use Excel? I'm sure there's a ton of you that use Excel, right? Yes, would you like to get rid of it? Yes, yay, all right. So, no, Mercedes says no. So it is crazy. It is innovative. All these things are words that really will be what AI is from your perspective. So understand that's y'all's perspective, and I like to do it because you want to see everybody how everybody thinks. So some statistics. Excuse me. Statistics of AI. This is a little bit old. So 2022, 35% of businesses worldwide used AI, 4 percentage point increase from 2021. Global artificial intelligence is expected to reach 1.59 trillion by 2030. That's actually 2 trillion now. This is about almost 3 years old now. 91% of leading businesses have ongoing investments in artificial intelligence. And then according to the latest artificial intelligence fact statistics, 54% of firms using AI started seeing a cost savings and efficiency increase. This is from, these statistics are from IBM, so it's a very narrow pool of businesses and corporations. But at the end of the day, this is just a fraction of where we're at right now. So practical application for a RAG. I'm going to teach everybody how to build one today, really quickly. Retrieval augmented generation, AI implementation, the benefits, the challenge, the outcome, and the future. So for you guys, what's the benefit? Well, if I can take all my documents and everything and shove it in one repository and have a conversation with it, you tell me what the benefit is. The benefit for your company. To take somebody who has 30, 40 years of knowledge and they record on audio all their information, and now AI can take that, grab that information through normal means, and then vectorize it. And I'll speak just briefly about vectorization in a second. So the outcome is you reduce tribal knowledge. You now build a repository of information. You kind of have, AI in your pocket, but you got AI in your pocket with knowledge that is about you, your business, what you do, what you build, how you build it, everything in one place. And this can be done so you guys are still within compliancy. That's still with ITAR, CUI, CMMC, you can still be compliant and still build this. So I'm going to show you guys right now how to build that. So all this is free. None of this is cost anything. So Llama, made by Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, they're now on Llama 4. It's free. You can go to Hugging Face and download the model right now today. You take this picture, you put it into ChatGPT and say, I want to build a RAG. It'll walk you through the whole process. It'll give you step by step. So me as a developer, I'm out of a job, which is fine. Streamlit is an interface for web UI so you can interact with it. So you ask a question, it goes out, it hits Llama, Llama comes back, looks at Quadrant, which is the vectorization of all these files, PDF, Word, text documents, PowerPoint, you name it, you put it through that. Once it's been vectorized, so vectorization is, everybody, really quickly, I'll give you a quick kind of what's tokenization and what's kind of that process at a really simple level. Think of the word understanding. Under will be 1, 2 will be stand, 3 will be ing. From now on, for that LLM, those 3 words will only have 1, 2, and 3. That's fed to the model through the vectorization, and then you chunk that data, and that data is compared, and you use different algorithms and different things like LangChain to actually tie that information together. And then it's vectorized, so now AI can actually read it. It understands the data it's looking at, so you can have conversations with it. But this is how you built it. We've built this model many, many, many times using different LLMs, as well as we've used the APIs to different AI engines. So understanding cost and predictive maintenance, quality inspection and computer vision, demand forecasting with artificial intelligence, energy optimization with systems, and retrieval augmented generation. These are all things that AI can do right now and do very, very well within 95 to 100% accuracy. So this isn't like, it's going to be 55%, it's going to be 60%, within 95 to 100% accuracy. It's hard to get right up to 100%, and that's why I always like to put a human in the loop for verification of information, especially when you're training a model. So, but predictive maintenance system, quality inspection with computer vision, it's been around for a very long time. A lot of manufacturers that make machines, that make parts, that do things, are now starting to embed them. Everybody is starting to embed AI. One of those companies being Gord's company that is actually embedding AI into their actual application. So understand demand forecasting with artificial intelligence. You can give it all of your Excel and it can start doing trend data. It can actually start doing forecasting. Think about feeding it all the information that you can pull from data sources. There's a lot of free government sources out there for housing statistics, gold, silver, weather, economics. You can bring all that together and then use the AI model to actually predict what's going to happen. It recently, just so you guys know, it predicted the Pope. So somebody used an artificial intelligence model and they predicted the Pope from Villanova would be the Pope selected. So it actually worked. So it can work. It does work like it's supposed to. So for large language models for CMMC compliancy, you've kind of got 4 things. And those 4 things are going to be data, architecture, parameters, and controls. Those are the 4 things you got to have. It's high level, but at the end of the day, you got to have good data. Good data is essential. Good data in, good data out. Bad data in, bad data out, period. So think about normalization, think about standardization. We recently built an AI that actually cleans data for the customer. So it actually cleans the data, they verify it, and then pass it on to an actual database, and then it gets vectorized. So it can do that, but you want to make sure that that's done. Architecture for CMMC compliancy, it's going to have to be on-prem. You're going to have to build something. Unless you're level 1, you could probably get away with it. Level 2 and 3, there's no way. So the LLM will have to be on-site, on-prem. You will need the infrastructure. You will need your IT department to help you set it up and maintain it, or somebody like me or a company like us to do that. Parameters, you've got to build the parameters around it so you guys can have rules. Hey, if this is wrong, do this. If this is wrong, do this. You still got to teach it that. It's got to have that governance around it to help you with the data. And then controls. You've got to put controls in place so you can still be compliant. So you've got to control permissions. You've got to control access. You've got to make sure it's firewalled off from the outside world. All those things have to be in place in order for this to work, to have a large language model that is compliant. So we're about wrapping up. There's our next poll real quick. What repetitive task in your work can be automated? If you guys would vote for this. So we're counting down. Anybody want to do the theme song? Anybody? Nope. All right. There we go. Mercedes is doing it. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. I can't do it. All right. Wow. 82%. Yes. I totally agree with every person in the room that said 82%. Not that I'm saying I'm not agreeing with the other 9 or 3 or 6%, but it can do every one of those tasks and more. One of the things that I like to use as an example of that is, hang on. Yeah, it's popped up a little message. There we go. Best practices. So one of the things that I like to do, and I've done for the last 7 years, is use Fireflies, which is a recording service that actually records every conference call, every Teams call, every Google call, everything I do.
Is that CMMC compliant?
It is not CMC compliant, so I did want to say that, because so you guys forget about it. But there are programs that you actually can use, that you can download and use on-prem that will do the same thing. So those tools also exist as well, and you can use those, and they are CMMC compliant. Thank you, Mercedes. So best practices of AI: define clear objectives and use case. Write it out first. We're a big fan of documentation. Document everything. Invest in data quality and management. You have to have it. That's a 100% need. Role-based access control. Start with a pilot project. Do something small. Do a little proof of concept before you go spend a lot of money and a lot of time building something that may or may not work. Start with pilot projects, build cross-functional teams. I can't stress this enough, because if one person in the room is the only person that knows the artificial intelligence for the business or whatever, you have a problem. Because that person leaves, they walk out with all that intelligence. You want to make sure you've built a team that actually handles this. Ensure transparency and explainability. It's got to be easy to explain. It's got to be able to understand. You've got to be able to set that up and document everything you do. Prioritize cybersecurity. You guys have to. It's not a choice. Focus on continuous learning and improvement, and then foster a culture of innovation and training, which are all things that we try to do in every project that we do throughout. So I think, yes, ma'am. So I think I'm done, but appreciate everybody and your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, good morning. As I mentioned before, I'm Gord Rollins. I'm the CEO of CMMC, and we're developing software for the construction industry and have been for a long time now. I have been spending the last couple of years focused exclusively on the AI infrastructure in the software, because I know that's where everything is ultimately going. Initially, it was all about advanced analytics and being able to have a chat and dialogue with your database, which is in our product currently. But right now, we're releasing our next version, which is going to be fully AI agent enabled. So everything you can do as a person, you can have your assistant as an AI agent do it for you. I'm going to give you, I hope, some practical examples in this talk, which is just how is AI going to actually change your life and what you do day to day. And you might be able to, you may not do actual construction project management, but you can take these parallels and apply it to almost any job that's possible to be augmented or assisted with AI agents. So I'm going to go through 4 main areas where project management systems can help you with using AI agents. And where AI agents can help you in your project management processes. First, through AI-powered project controls. Project controls is a very, very important part of the CMMC process, because you have to make sure that your projects are on time, on schedule, on budget, and that there's no unforeseen obstacles that, in addition to the storage of data, which is secondary, but which is primary, but the actual improvement of processes is critical for compliance as well. Risk management and predictive analytics really help projects. Any way you want to look at it, if you want to analyze what's happening on the job site, or if you want to have something feed you with information, AI is a perfect agent for that, or a perfect tool for that. Intelligent resource allocation, I'm going to give you some examples of how this will transform how people currently do resource allocations on projects. And finally, the strengthened security and data integrity in a AI-powered system is greatly enhanced, and you don't rely on people, you rely on AI to basically make sure your system is and has been configured and remains configured to be CMMC compliant from a security and data integrity perspective. So let me give you some practical examples. So in each of these 4 categories, I'm going to start with the AI-powered project controls. Project controls in our software consists of modules for job costing, subcontract management, change order management, job billing. Those modules all integrated in with the financial systems, as well as integrated with the field project management solutions. So they the project controls solutions kind of sit in the middle of the field and the back office. So project controls are where a lot of the CMMC compliance comes in. In the security settings, and I just picked this as an example. Because with AI agents, you're able to do things with natural language requests that used to take knowledge of the system and how to configure a system, which when you're talking about an ERP or advanced project management system can be very, very difficult. There's lots in fields. This little question here, this little agent instruction that's written here, it says, don't allow collaborators to update RFIs once they've been submitted, and only new notes may be entered. Okay, I just took that as a very minor example, but those are 2 flags in the configuration settings of the project management system, which is one of about 400 screens that you have to go find the appropriate flag and know which one to check. But when you just tell an agent, and the way we've made the software be able to support this is that every one of our data tables can be updated through an API, which can be fed with a natural language request. An application programming interface used to just require a format of a file that gets sent in. It'll update the database. Now you use AI to take a natural language request, and it will format the data based on your API specification and populate those tables. So all of our configuration tables are being transformed into API-enabled tables that can take natural language inputs. So this is just an example of 2 fields that get checked. You don't know where they are. You have no idea how to navigate through the menu systems to find these places, but you just say, don't allow collaborators to update RFIs once they've been submitted, and it checks that flag in the system for you. It makes it so that your system is more secure because you're not relying on people to understand exactly where to go to check the appropriate flag. You just say what you want it to do, and it takes care of it. Now, you can still go to the flag and verify it. And I think we're in the early days, even though we've been doing AI for a while now, it still is really in the long term, the early days of AI, and people still have to verify everything. But at the same time, we're finding that it's pretty much checking every flag we tell it to check when we tell it to check it. The next example, automation of any routine task. In our project control system, we have what we call PCIs, which are potential change items. Those PCIs that come in from the field, they can come from RFIs, they can come in from issues, they can come in from almost anything, and a PCI gets logged. A lot of times what project managers are doing is they're going and they're grouping. You have to learn software in order to group your PCIs to prepare an owner change request to send it to the owner. This is actually, if you think about it, a pretty mundane task for somebody who's managing a project. But if you can just tell your AI agent to go and create the potential owner changes for everything that we've submitted in the last week, and it does it, then that's just going to take that project manager and free up so much of his time. We're actually estimating right now, we're trying to figure out when we go to market with the AI agent-enabled project management system, okay, how many projects do we think that a project manager would be able to manage when it's assisted with an AI agent-based system versus how many they have to manage today based on the manual tasks they have to do. We think you're going to be able to manage more projects with fewer project managers, which ultimately leads to greater efficiency. Obviously, this is all going to change over time. And then finally, Workflows. Workflows are really, really powerful, and we've had workflows in our CMMC system for 20 years. You can actually trigger an event that makes something happen. I can have an alert sent to somebody when anything happens. If somebody posts a cost that exceeds the budget, or causes the budget to exceed, you can get an alert. That workflow can be built by understanding how to use our workflow builder. However, what we found is that's really contained to the IT departments, and sometimes some companies don't have robust or strong IT departments, or sometimes they, IT, as typical, IT people do, they say, well, I'm going to go and buy a new system for that, and then they'll go buy another system, and yet another system, and then all of a sudden you've got this thing that only one person knows how to manage and maintain, and these workflows stop being developed. In this version, you just create a workflow by telling the computer in natural language what you want to happen. As an example, require my approval before submitting any RFI containing a cost or schedule impact to the owner, owner's rep, or architect. This is actually a workflow that has to look at the event, which is an RFI containing a cost or schedule impact. Any RFI that contains a cost or schedule impact automatically will be now sent as an FYI. We call it an FYI, for your information notification. That will come to the owner, the owner's rep, or the architect. By the way, this could be a silly example. I'm just saying you can make up any workflow request, describe it in natural language, and the workflow is built. You'll see the workflow in the builder. It's got the lines and the boxes and the circles and the arrows and everything that you see in a workflow that IT people have been building, or even really super users have been building for a while. It builds it. All you have to then do is modify it if you want to. So actually, that's just an example of where AI is improving the project control systems. The examples go on and on and on and on. We do demonstrations of our system that go multiple days, where we talk about all the situations that AI can automate or assist with. Okay, risk management and predictive analytics. I'm including forecasting and risk management because I believe that if you have a cost overrun, the earlier you find out, the better. And with AI, you're not dependent on somebody to read a report to figure out that you're now over budget or you're trending over budget. You've got an agent that is active all the time, that is analyzing your data, and it's going to tell you that. In this case, I've divided that into 2 points, and I'm kind of merging them together here. But the first one is just the example of what they do today: generate and store the current forecast for all my jobs as of March 31st, and auto-spread the remaining cost over the remaining time. That is a huge task for a person to do. If I want to go in and find out what my forecast is and analyze every one of those lines, look at my units in place, look at my labor hours spent, look at what my productivity is, trend that over the balance. Now, obviously, there are computer programs that do that. By the way, I'm going to take just a second here to say, even today, as we're moving through this presentation, I've given some examples which are telling the computer to do things because that's what we do. In a technical sense, that's using natural language to automate an agent or a process, which is a great improvement. But RPA, or robotic process automation, has been around for a long time. You could have a computer programmed to do these things previously. The real advantage that I'm talking about in this presentation is the fact that you can now tell it to do it with natural language. However, it's beyond that. When you really want to think in the future, you're not just automating, you're not telling the computer to automate processes, you're asking it to take over. If you think about where AI is going and what it's going to be doing, some of these examples that I'm giving is not, I wouldn't have to tell it to create a forecast. It already knows that the forecasts are due. There's nothing that you have to do because you've told it to tell me what it's going to be real time. Do you know what I mean? I gave you an example that kind of takes a paradigm that we use today and applies an AI agent to it. But in the future, nobody's going to think about creating forecasts. The forecast is going to be available in real time at any time. And this is going to happen as you go through AI. You're going to say, okay, I can automate that. But then you think, well, I'm not even sure that what I'm automating needs to be done anymore because AI is already taking care of all that. And that's going to happen over time. And there are many, many examples of that. Here's another example of where AI predictive analytics can go in and tell you you're going to be over budget. It'll say something like, concrete formwork is trending 28% below the target over your past 5 days. The crew completed 1,200 square feet compared to the planned 1,650 square feet. This is actually applying a goal, which is going to be important for AI, by the way. People wonder what's their job going to be in the future when AI is doing everything. You manage it by actually now being more proactive in goal setting. You tell AI what your goals are, and it will well, first of all, it'll tell you how to do that to get that goal, and then it will tell you when you're trending over or above that goal. So this is an example where somebody has said, I want to be able to, I'm targeting 1,650 square feet per day, but I'm only hitting 1,200. This is going to give me this projection, and it's a very bad situation. And real-time data stream analysis, this is just one example of where a machine is sending maintenance information. We've had that for a long time. A machine can send information in, and you can schedule maintenance based on how many hours it's run or how many vibrations or whatever the statistical elements of that data stream is. But let me give you a little bit of a bigger example than this. Today, there are job sites that have been equipped with cameras that are recording everything that's happening. And a project manager doesn't have to, or a superintendent doesn't have to walk the site to create a punch list item or to identify a safety violation. You can actually have that data stream analyzed, that video feed analyzed, and those can be created automatically in your system for you. You wake up in the morning and you're notified of safety incidents, or not even incidents, but even faults at any job site. Anyway, real-time data stream analysis, video analysis, photo analysis. I created an RFI last week on a project by taking a picture of a broken concrete slab with a pipe that had cracked it, and nobody had to type anything. It analyzed the photo and said, this is the RFI description, this is the description, and this is the measures we suggest you take. That was an AI agent that wrote that, not a person. Number 3, intelligent resource allocation. First of all, we have a resource planning system now where you can take your resources and drag them or assign them to projects. And it's very efficient in the old world. But in the new world, you're going to say, here's all my resources, here's all their skills, here's all their certifications, here's everything that they've got that's available, to assess their where they're located and how far they're willing to travel. All those parameters are in the system. You just tell the agent to go schedule your resource plan, your job. It will soft allocate all the available workers and equipment on any open need on any job, active or pending, over the next 3 months. It does all that. Just the fact of trying to think about how much time that would take you is kind of overwhelming. And AI, you can overwhelm. I love overwhelming AI. I treat it like an assistant that I really, really don't care about at all. Just do it. I don't care if you think it's too much work. And that's what AI does for you. It just gives you so much capabilities without worrying about how hard it is. I'm going to just interrupt for a poll. How many yearly man equivalents does your company spend on manpower project allocations today? Is it 1 person per year? So is your manpower allocations done with 1 person per year? More than 5 people per year, so I would say it's 1 to 5, and then B is 5 and over, or you don't know. It's just a simple poll to see on your phone. You say, in your organization, do you have 1 to 5 people doing that, over 5, or you really don't know? Okay, so with the unknowns probably trending the same as the other ratio, we're going to be somewhere in a room this size where there are 5 man equivalents doing resource allocations, and you're going to offload that to an agent. You'll probably have a person for a while anyway, verifying everything. By the way, the second point on this is to make adjustments. Move George Smith to Project 1510, from 1510 to 1620, and assign Sue Wilson to that project. Instead of having to go and actually use, one of the things that we're finding is that the user interface is going to disappear. You're not going to be going through screens and fields. Our next release of our software has an agent dashboard. You're just picking agent and typing instructions, you're not learning how to use software. And that's what this is an example of. And then here's an example of, based on a weather condition, I forgot to write in here, the AI agent rescheduled. This isn't a person deciding to have to go and reassign this crew and contact them. And it's not a bot that you initiate because you see that there's going to have to be a schedule delay. It's a weather condition overnight that prompted a reschedule of a crew that was going to do a concrete pour that couldn't be done. So they rescheduled them and then you wake up in the morning and your agent says, the concrete pour on job 1520 has been rescheduled for next week. Crew A has been rescheduled and all members have been advised. Okay, thank you very much. I can now rest easy and not have to go and do a whole bunch of work to make that happen. And then finally, the fourth point, the final point in how AI is going to transform project management and project controls. Anything to do with security and data integrity. We're doing our CMMC compliance using a specific configuration because CUI has to be stored behind a separate firewall, and we have to make sure that the system is configured in a certain way to make it compliant. All the functionality that I described with running agents can be configured in a way that is CMMC compliant. That's one of the points I wanted to make. We're not talking about having to not be able to. I've heard of companies that do all their federal work in Excel spreadsheets and upload it to secure Azure instances so that they can be compliant, and then they can't use any of the functionality that is in their project management system. But we've configured it so that that runs within the government cloud that allows for CUI to be stored behind a separate sign-in. And and we have to have a very clear delineation of what is the compliant and what is the non-compliant components, and make sure they're never cross over. Anyway, one of them, if you have access to a system, this is analyzing data streams again. John Smith has accessed the system 10 times during off-duty hours over the past week. By the way, I didn't say that somebody wrote a bot that checked for this. This is just AI looking at logins. This is the thing you have to keep in mind. Nobody wrote this rule. This is just AI identifying an anomaly and alerting you. The best AI prompts are the simplest AI prompts. If you try to tell AI, this is something you might even learn as you're doing work in ChatGPT. If you try to tell AI what to do too much, you're limiting the AI capabilities. Kind of let it figure it out. Just tell it what your objective is and let it figure it out. You don't tell it exactly what to do. It's a change of mindset. Second example, before you post a transaction, this is just an example. You're getting a message. The Steel Co. Inc. purchase order number 11247 for $84,750 is going to cause the remaining budget on cost code 15120 to be exceeded by $30,750. This message, we have actually built this already, and we're running this in-house in our system, in our ERP, where every batch is analyzed before it's posted for impact. We call it impact analysis. And if anybody makes an error, it's identified before it gets posted rather than after. It also can drive notifications so that you can actually interrupt things before they become official. In the past, people are finding out things that happened way later. Now it's even before it happens, using AI tools and agents. And then finally, in terms of CMMC, just to wrap up, strengthening data security and data integrity through the robust identification of CUI. By the way, it's not just a matter of making sure that somebody put the CUI in the appropriate place. It's AI reading the document and saying, whoops, that looks like CUI to me. You can't store that here. And when you have that process, that agent running, you're way more, you're going to have a much better chance of remaining compliant on all your jobs. Anyway, that's the end of what I had to say. Thank you very much.
We have 1 minute to wrap up, and I apologize we didn't get a chance to ask questions, Please come and approach them if you have a few minutes after this. But Devon started and gave us a macro view and told us the things that we can now do that before we had to pay a lot of money to get others to do. And then we finished with a taste of how productive, and construction is one area where we can truly increase productivity. Now imagine all my RFIs will be written. You're going to be bombarded with RFIs, but you could also have AI help you respond to RFIs. So truly, the ability to execute and to remain on schedule on projects, it's only exponential. This is just a taste, and I want to thank these two fantastic speakers for their time to come. On the same link where you did the polls, there's also an evaluation. Please evaluate our session. Tell us how we can do this better next time. Thank you very much, everyone.